All right, well, we've been starting with various tree words all week, and I decided to look for some trees that I was less familiar with. I would say unusual trees, but of course, it's only unusual if it's not in the area that you live. So this might be unusual for you, this might not be unusual for you, but I decided to go with KAURI today, which is a tree from, I believe, New Zealand. I think it might be the only place that they're found. I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely from New Zealand, so... Anyways, KAURI trees, kind of interesting. Not a tree that I'm familiar with, but if you're from, New Zealand or Australia or that area, maybe you are familiar with them. So, all right, let's see. We got the AR, which is interesting. My instinct is to do the R second. Now, normally I would think ER, but with the A not second, it's not going to be AER. You could do A at the beginning, something like after. Actually, after isn't terrible. My first thought was like CR, something like craft, but that's not really any better than after. We could do crate. That's pretty good. I think the C's maybe slightly better than the F. It's always good to check the C. Let's go crate. Okay. That was pretty good. So there's lots of things we could do here. We could do something like brave or... Well, we can't do break. I was about to say break, but we can't do break. We could do... grade, and grave. So maybe, brave is possible. Grade and grave. Maybe grave? Do I want to go with a V? What else could we do? Let's see. Could we do... grape is also possible. So maybe grave isn't terrible. R-A, it feels like N-E, crane, but that's no good. We don't have the C. L-E maybe? Don't know about that. I don't know. Maybe grave isn't terrible. Let's go for grave. Okay, so that ruled out grade and grape and brave as well. So, frame. Frame is interesting. I didn't think about that. Frayed not. Nope, that's not how it's spelled. Is there anything else with the M? I don't think so. What about D-R-A? Drain, that's not how it's spelled. Drake, but there's no K. I don't know. Frame seems pretty good. I'm going with frame. Okay. Well, you know what I didn't think of? Is repeating a letter. Erase is possible. All right, what else is possible? Could we do, well, like orate, but there's no T. Could we do another... A? I don't think so. Erase? What else could it be besides erase? Oh, drape. I didn't think about drape. So maybe, it's hard to say. I was going to say maybe grape would have been a good guess instead of grave, but of course then you'd have brave as a possibility. So either way, could have also done grade, which would have ruled out drape. Or gotten the yellow, depending on which way it is, if it was the answer or not. So erase and drape is what I'm thinking. It feels like there might be something else, but... All right, I'm going to go erase, because that was my first thought. And then I'm doing drape if that's wrong. Okay. Well, we're gonna drape ourselves over the limb of a KAURI tree, I guess, and hope that we find the solution there. Okay. Woo. I was a little worried there was another possibility I wasn't thinking of. If there was another possibility I wasn't thinking of, let me know what it was. But wow. Well, we almost had our, green and gray solve that we were trying to do on the challenge the other day, other than the yellows at the beginning. But there's just a lot of R-A-E words. Very interesting. We have the A-E-R trap that we've run into before. Now we have the R-A-E trap as well. So very interesting. Well, let me know how long it took you to find the answer today. And if you, know of KAURI trees, if you have them in your area. And of course, Be sure to subscribe for more.